I got a follow-up question for you, Roland, just because I'm a media guy, yeah? But the body cams, you said, 26 years in the force, so you've seen trends. It almost overlaps with smartphones. We see how the smartphone technology affected people's behavior. Quick to shoot something we see instead of maybe help or whatever, right? Shoot before we call, type of thing. So how the smartphones sort of change behavior of people, how has body cams changed the behavior of cops?
Being biased, I want to say that it didn't change it in a negative way. But the accountability is there now, right? It's always the accountability. And I think for the most part, as much as it's gotten to a point where officers sometimes don't like it because they can get in trouble for not activating it when it's supposed to, or something happens and they start thinking that you turned it off or something like that. The biggest thing is that it has saved a lot of officers. It has saved a lot of officers. One thing that I've always pushed and talked about was that I wish our department would be a little bit quicker forthcoming with the videos, because there's a lot of times that people will post their videos and it goes on the news and it goes on for a couple of weeks before everything is done, before the police department will show what actually happened. But meanwhile, people have already developed their perception and stuff like that. And I understand there's reasons for it. You got to make sure that you're covering all your bases. You don't want to unduly influence people and stuff like that. But I think for the most part, it's given an officer a little bit more sense of security, because when you go out there and you're doing your job and you believe you're doing your job right, and somebody makes an accusation that you're doing something wrong. I had a guy years ago, I used to do a lot of speed enforcement, so I go on the side of the road and shoot lasers and stuff. I had a guy that I gave a ticket to. He went and made a complaint. He didn't say, we found out who he was later though. He actually made a complaint that I was standing on the side of the road holding my shoe, pointing it at cars, trying to make people slow down or pulling people over. Yeah, he actually tried to tell him that I had no laser with me. I was shooting cars with my shoe. Wow. So, again, the body cams have really exonerated officers in that sense. And it allows officers, because we are reacting at a split second. And it gives an officer a moment when he has to write his report. Because a lot of times people look at us as, oh, they're being untruthful. But, the thing is, under the stress, you're writing down what you remember. But you may not realize that, oh, this happened, and that's why I reacted and stuff. So we're able to look at the body cam and stuff and say, yeah, I remember that happening. Wow. Or I didn't even see that, that kind of stuff. Or it does help the officers, I believe. And it helps the community. To me, I think it should give the community a sense of validation that officers are being accountable. Yeah. And there's video for everything they do. But on the other side is, don't go making your false accusations, because we've got video as well. So
all kinds of crazy people out there, huh?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
I was one of them at one point. From minor traffic infractions to interviewing a cop.
There you go.
I made it, Mom.
Started at the bottom. Now we're here.
Yes, sir.
I can do one follow-up to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just because I'm into video, right? You see the power it has, and I know that it doesn't matter what organization, what industry you're in, video has way more power exponentially. On your end, on the back end of the HPD side, do you know how much gigabytes or terabytes of video you go through every day? As a cop, what's your protocol as a police officer in the field? What's your protocol training of uploading, downloading this media? Where is it stored? Who has access? What's the ownership on that? Because that's a vault worth of stuff that could be used for you to train. Like how athletes now have tape and all kinds of metrics that they get better in their performance. So I could see video being used that way, but also in the prosecution side and, like you said, building narratives. So the back end, how does HPD manage and harness and use this vault?
I'll tell you as much as I know. I don't know how much gigabytes we use every day, but I do know that every officer, whenever he gets to a call, he activates his camera prior to making contact. Depending on the case, there may be a reason why the officer may turn off his camera. For example, a sex assault type of case. The person may not be comfortable talking. Even some type of abuse cases, we will actually ask the person, the victim, and then there's a recording that, I'm turning off my camera at the request and stuff like that. Once at the end of the day, all the data is on the camera, and then what happens is they take the camera back to the police station. There's a docking station, so once we throw it in there, it recharges it, but it also downloads all the video. Then what happens from there is the officer needs to go into his, it's the Axon body cameras, which we're using. So there's an application that we use that the officer has to go in and what they call tagging all of his videos. So if there's a video of him giving a traffic citation, he'll put in that there's a traffic stop. He'll put the citation number for cataloging everything. The officer doesn't have the ability to erase any of that stuff. Only the supervisors are, other than the officer themselves, have the authority to look at it. Anybody that looks at it, there's a tracking, so to say who's actually looked at things. The storage, I know it's in the millions of dollars of equipment and the storage space that we pay for. That was one thing that I think a lot of departments, why they didn't go to get body cameras, or why our department has actually thought about it, whether it's necessary or not, because of the amount of money we spend to store that information. When it comes down for prosecution or the court cases, the detectives will go and look at the videotapes, the camera footage, and they'll add it to their reports. So then it does go to the prosecutors and the defense attorney, so they all have access to it. If it's not there, they can subpoena the cameras to see if there's anything missing, kind of thing. So as far as the data storage and stuff like that, I'm really not sure exactly what it is. The neat thing now with our cameras is with our tasers, anytime we turn on the taser, it automatically activates the camera. So there's always video of that kind of stuff. So and if I'm not sure if they have it now, but I know they're working on it. They were working on it at one point, where even when you turned on the blue lights in the vehicle, it activated the camera. So if you're in pursuit of someone, the camera is already activated versus you having to activate it. Because we've had issues before where officers are in a rush to get to something and they forget to push because it's not a matter of just one click. You have to push it for a couple of seconds to activate it and stuff like that. And then we've also had issues where people activated and went to the bathroom and forgot that it was on. But, so it has its challenges. But the officers, even in the academy now, I believe that they're even training them to get used to that muscle memory of activating your camera and documenting in your report, attaching it to your report, and that kind of stuff. So, like I said, I think the camera stuff is a good thing. The one big thing that a lot of officers didn't like was they were afraid about how, making a mistake of not activating it or accidentally deactivating it, having to justify it, thinking that, I wasn't doing it to try to stop something from being recorded. In fact, on my way here, I was watching a little video and there was a incident.
You wasn't on your phone, huh?
No. Okay. but it was a video of a, it was a kind of show about police and who's like policing the police and something like that. But where guys are on camera, one officer is telling the other camera, hey, turn off your camera, or is your camera on, kind of thing. That kind of stuff just gets you in trouble and stuff like that. But the thing is, with the integrity of the officers, my thing is, hey, I love you, man, but I'm not going to go to jail because you feel you might have done something wrong. I will keep it on camera and we'll work it out, see what's got to be done. Because a lot of times when that kind of stuff happens, me as the officer that's trying to cover it up gets a bigger or worse punishment than the guy that actually made the mistake or something. So it's like,
and then the publicity with that, cuz.